to the InfoWars Nightly News. I'm your host, Jakari Jackson. Here's what we have in store for you on this October 31st, 2013 edition.
Tonight on the InfoWars Nightly News, pro-gun Sheriff Nick Finch found not guilty by a constitutional jury. Then, the nanny state unleashed. Man arrested and jailed for overdue library book. Plus, prankster Tom Mabe on the real horror from above. All that and more on the InfoWars Nightly News.
And welcome back. Our top story tonight, pro-gun sheriff found not guilty. Now this, of course, is Florida Sheriff Nick Finch, who released a man from his jail believing that the man had been arrested under circumstances that violated the man's Second Amendment rights. This didn't fit, well, the local officials in the sheriff's community, and they had charged him with official misconduct. When the case went to trial, he was found innocent on all charges, and he called into the Alex Jones radio show today to share his experiences.
Sir, tell us about the false charges. Testify to the worldwide audience of 3 million people right now. In a nutshell, you've got the Florida sheriff. What happened to you, what they did for those that didn't really follow the case or only saw state-run media demonizing you, and the entire political system coming after you because they're so afraid of lawmen being Americans, and then what it was like when you were found not guilty. And then I want to warn you, they're going to probably come after you again. You're a smart guy, you know that. But I mean, you're a national figure of honor. And I never talk like this to folks, but I know you're just going to say you did the right thing and upheld your oath, but we salute you, sir, for your courage. Because
well, I appreciate that, Alex. And when I got elected sheriff, you know, my deep, dark desire was not to become a national figure, but I know that I have, in some aspect, became a national figure, and that's okay. I'm big enough to handle that. But in a nutshell, what happened was one of my deputies made a traffic stop about 30 miles south of the capital of Liberty County, or the county seat of Liberty County. Found a firearm in a fellow's right front pocket. Guy's out there not bothering anybody. You know, he's on his way home. He's 5 miles from the house. And so my deputy arrested him for carrying a concealed firearm. And so I had got a call, and you know, my wife was with me at the time, actually, and I told my wife, I said, man, I wish he wouldn't have done that. I said, you know, I've got Second Amendment issues here that really bother me about that. Now, everybody knows in the state of Florida, the state law says that if you're going to carry a concealed firearm, you got to have a permit. But you know, I joined the military in 1981, Alex, and I swore the very same oath to support, protect, and defend the Constitution. And obviously, I agreed with that oath so much that I went to war for this country. So, you know, to me, the Constitution still means something. So I made the decision not to go through with the arrest. I went to the jail. I personally went to jail. Now, you got to understand, Liberty County is the smallest county in the state of Florida, 8,300 residents. These people want their sheriff to be personally involved, and that's what I am, is personally involved. And so I go and I release the guy. I tell the jailer we're not charging him, and I walk out and go home.
And you can donate to the cause of Sheriff Nick Finch by going to cspoa.org. That is the organization of Sheriff Richard Mack. China moves spy ships to Hawaiian waters in retaliation against the U.S. China has sent a surveillance ship to Hawaiian waters for the very first time in an unprecedented move, which is being described as a provocative retaliation to the U.S. naval presence in the East China Sea. According to a report by goldsea.com, a 4,000-ton People's Liberation Army electronic reconnaissance ship was recently spotted near Hawaiian waters within the U.S. 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone. Now, I'm not a fan of being spied on by a foreign power, but it makes me even more upset to find out that things are going on in our own country. You know, as bad as it is to be spied on by China, we're being spied on right here in the United States of America. And that leads us to this. Mike Rogers argues spying is okay as long as the government doesn't get caught.
I would argue that maybe the fact that we haven't had any complaints come forward with any specificity, arguing that their privacy has been violated clearly indicates, in 10 years, clearly indicates that something must be doing right. Somebody must be doing something exactly right.
But who would be complaining?
Somebody whose privacy was violated. You can't have your privacy violated if you don't know your privacy is violated, right?
And it doesn't just extend to the American people. They even spied on the Pope. As you recall, Wayne Madsen called into the Alex Jones radio show earlier this week and dropped that bombshell, which actually turned out to be true. And I will agree with the gentleman, Mr. Rogers. To a large extent, people don't voice their concerns in an official forum, but myself and the rest of the crew of InfoWars have definitely voiced that we don't like being spied on. So why don't you take that into consideration before saying that everybody seems to be okay with being spied on. NSA infiltrates links to Yahoo, Google, data centers worldwide, Snowden documents say. The National Security Agency has secretly broken into main communication links that connect Yahoo and Google data centers around the world, according to documents obtained from former NSA contractor Edward Snowden and interviews with knowledgeable officials. Now, this is nothing new. We heard in the prison scandal that not just Yahoo, Google, many of your other big search engines, NSA, FBI, CIA, they all have been doing these types of things for a while. Facebook said they're going to start tracking your searches via your mouse clicks, which isn't really new information, but, you know, it's now getting more mainstream. So if nothing else, I'm happy to see this news breaking out into the mainstream. And don't forget, Snowden recently just got a tech job over there in Russia. But there's a document I'd like to pull up for 1 second. Now, I'm not a tech guru, but they seem to have broken this down to a level that even I can understand. You can see the public internet, the Google Cloud, and the little bridge in between that connects them with the nice little friendly smiley face at the bottom. So, you know, if you're a tech guy or somebody more adept than I can, you can go through there and see what all that has to say. But for me, that's pretty much the dummy's guide to understanding how they're spying on you. Now, we're going to go to Gigi Arnetta with a special edition of Tyranny Watch. She's going to be talking about Obamacare. She joins us right now in studio. That's good to see you, Gigi.
It's good to see you, Jakari.
Now, there's a lot of stuff. I know you've been all knee-deep in this Obamacare, probably eyebrow-deep is more like it. But we saw this article the other day. White House orders insurance companies not to criticize Obamacare.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to say that I support the insurance company in any way. I just want to start by saying that I'm not on their team, per se. But yeah, they're threatening the insurance companies if they speak. And there's a lot of truth, I'm sure, that they have to tell the people, because Obama kept telling them that, you know, you're not going to lose your insurance. And they definitely, a lot of people are losing their insurance. A few million, actually. Yeah,
more than a few. So, you know, what does this mean? Why would the mainstream media come out and report this?
Well, you know, I think that we might actually be turning a corner with the media. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to happen now, but there's some tiny little bit of light in the long dark tunnel.
Okay.
I'm being positive about it, but it just seems like it doesn't matter what it is. If it has to do with the truth, the Obama administration will not have it. And basically, they actually told the health insurance companies that there was, you know, they were under a gag order. I do believe that that was at least till October 1st originally. Now, I don't know what the paperwork or legalities are, but they're telling the executives that they're really not allowed to talk about the pricing, among many other things. And the bottom line is that Obamacare requires certain things, including maternity and a bunch of other things that people like you wouldn't use. So they've had to reformat the insurance to match what Obamacare has told them that they think is an appropriate amount of health care.
Let's talk a little bit about inappropriate. Let's go to the website itself, healthcare.gov, which crashed right before Sebelius gave her testimony the other day. And remember, we had John McAfee on. He said, looking at it from a programmer's point of view, it's made not to function. Well,
yeah. Well, they never tested it. And when the people were asked, what kind of time do you need to test? I mean, 2 weeks was definitely not what they said. They've had 3 years to get this together. And there's got to be a period of time for beta testing, more than one person on the site at a time. And basically that did not happen. It didn't even happen. I mean, I'm trying to understand why you would give this kind of, the volume of money that is being spent on this website. They gave it to CGI, which is based out of Montreal, and then they farm it out to India to programmers who don't test anything. And then Sebelius is saying, well, it has a few glitches.
It has a few glitches, as I believe Kurt Nimmo pointed out. There have been more people to sign up to go to Mars than actually been able to sign up to go to healthcare.gov. Now, our time is short, so just give us one more of the articles.
I have to say one more thing, and that is, I think I'd rather go to Mars and get Obamacare. Moving on to the next thing. Obama said that you wouldn't lose your insurance. Obviously, that's happening. Now, the way that he's getting around it and saying that he was telling us the truth is that he didn't pull the plug on the health insurance. The health insurance is actually saying, you know what, this doesn't fit our guidelines. Okay, Jakari, you can no longer have that plan. So that's how he's getting around it. But he still said that you wouldn't lose your health insurance.
It's just another lie, just like, you won't lose your insurance, you won't have to pay more taxes, you won't have to do anything. It's just another long list of stuff that he said. He's not trying to take your guns away. He just wants your AK-47s and your high-capacity magazine, that he'll agree with anything Dianne Feinstein says. But Gigi Arnetta, Brett, definitely appreciate your time. We look forward to more Tyranny watches in the future.
Hey, I've got a lot more for you, but I guess I'll have to wait till next time because Lois Lerner's in the hot seat again.
Yes, and tell us about that.
So Lois Lerner actually gave information about the conservative groups that had put in applications to the Federal Election Committee. So she absolutely violated the law. And under code of the IRS, it is a felony. So when she said she did nothing wrong, she lied. I know you're surprised.
We know better. We know better. Just like, Eric Holder had nothing to do with Fast and Furious. Mrs. Clinton had nothing to do with Benghazi. It's just a string of unfortunate incidences for the Obama administration. Well, Gigi Arnett, I know there's a lot more tyranny, and you can be staying watch on this. So we'll look forward to your next report.
All right. Thank you, Jakari.
All right. Thank you. Now, we'll end tonight. We started with some good news, and unfortunately, we had to end with some bad news, but we have this. Texas man arrested and jailed for overdue library book. Now, the man checked out a GED study guide in 2010. Lo and behold, somebody trying to further their education. And in his particular county, if you check out a book and you don't return it within 90 days and you don't respond to the emails or calls, they will send somebody out to arrest you in the municipal court. Now, this seems like the episode of Seinfeld brought to life. And if you need any more indication, any more proof that you are living inside of a police state, this is it. Arresting a man for a library book. Just like here in the city of Austin, they have no refusal DUI weekends where they can draw your blood. In cities like San Antonio, they do it year round. And also here in the city of Austin, they say if you even ask for a cigarette, you will be arrested. And we'll talk about that more in our next segment. But first, if you like this broadcast and you'd like to see it continue, go to Infowars.com, go to PrisonPlanet.tv, and get yourself a 15-day free trial. You can get the Alex Jones Show, the radio show, the rants, all the good stuff right there. And also stop by the InfoWars shop and pick up a copy of the new magazine. You can see it right here. This is a good special edition. This is a great edition to get on if you've never been familiar with InfoWars. It has the Alamo stuff in it. So all the guys who are at the Alamo, you can flip through here and see all the pictures and all that good stuff. So check that out at the InfoWars shop. So stay tuned right after this for more special reports. Welcome to the InfoWars Nightly News. I'm your host, Jakari Jackson. Here's what we have in store for you on this October 31st, 2013 edition.
Tonight on the InfoWars Nightly News, pro-gun Sheriff Nick Finch found not guilty.
People right now, in a nutshell, you've got the floor sheriff. What happened to you, what they did for those that didn't really follow the case or only saw state-run media demonizing you. and the entire political system coming after you because they're so afraid of lawmen being Americans, and then what it was like when you were found not guilty. And then I want to warn you, they're going to probably come after you again. You're a smart guy, you know that. But I mean, you're a national figure of honor, and I never talked like this to folks.
Now, this, of course, is Florida Sheriff Nick Finch, who released a man from his jail believing that the man had been arrested under circumstances that violated the man's Second Amendment rights. This didn't fit, well, the local officials in the sheriff's community, and they had charged him with official misconduct. When the case went to trial, he was found innocent on all charges, and he called into the Alex Jones radio show today to share his experiences.
Sir, tell us about the false charges. Testify to the worldwide audience of 3 million.
By a constitutional jury. Then, the nanny state unleashed. Man arrested and jailed for overdue library book. Plus, prankster Tom Mabe on the real horror from above. All that and more on the InfoWars Nightly News.
And welcome back. Our top story tonight, pro-gun sheriff found not guilty.